Hello and welcome. I am so glad you're here. I'm Beth, a creator-based coach with CMH Coaching for Life. I'm here today to help you and those you love create a life you feel grounded and at home in. Think of a life where you feel peace, love for those around you, and in a flow with just enough challenge to keep you happy and creating something wonderful. Sounds like magic, but it's not. You can create that life every single day. You can have a life full of love, excitement, hope, and creation. Our mission at CMH Coaching is to flood the earth with light through compassion, mindfulness, and hope. And I'm going to ask a favor of you. If you like what you see and hear today, think of someone you know that would enjoy and benefit from this message. Our mission is to flood the world with compassion, mindfulness, and hope. Share this with them. But for now, this is time just for you. So settle into whatever you're doing and enjoy this time with the girls, where we create that one awesome, amazing, perfect life every one of us is seeking.
You gotta watch your thinking. Watch your thinking. Watch your thinking.
Welcome to A Creator-Based Life, the weekly podcast for CMH Coaching. We empower women of faith, create and live the lives they've always wanted. We have tools and we have mindsets and we have information that will empower you so that you can actually create a life that you want. And no matter what your circumstances are, we can show you how to do that. And it is the coolest thing ever. Just saying. Not bragging, just saying. But I'm here with my partners and my very good friend, Jaycone Bonnet.
Hey guys.
Jaycone is a business coach. She's a creator-based business coach, and she works primarily with chiropractic doctors, training them and helping them in their practices. And this girl knows her stuff. And then there's Jennifer DeRoos, my other longtime buddy and friend.
Hi. Hello. I didn't know. I thought we were on the three thing, and I just
we're on the three things. So Jenn and I met on a training cruise of all things, which was just so great. And Jenn is a hypnotherapist. She's a hypnotherapist. She can grow almost anything, Gardner, but I really like to think she can grow anything. And she's just a really, really good friend and a really good person. We're talking about plumb lines, and we're talking about horizontal thinking and vertical thinking. And it's weighted, and you could see right here at the bottom, it's super pointy.
Yeah.
And you almost feel like if you got it going kind of like the old spirograph, it would draw beautiful pictures for you, you know? But this, because of the force of the Earth's gravity, will be absolutely straight. It will hang absolutely vertically straight as long as you let it get still. Now, this isn't going to get still because of my personal energy and just who I am.
Yeah, that's funny. Look at it.
Yeah, if I could sit here and I could think yes, and I could think amazing, amazing things, and you can see it will begin to go circles. You can just watch it. It's crazy. But that's just from my personal energy, or it will sway back and forth. And I promise you, I'm not doing nothing. But this is a really cool tool that's used to make sure that something is completely vertical, that it's absolutely straight up and down. And it works because of the force of the Earth's gravity. And it weighs a lot and it feels so good in your hand. I'm a junkie for brass. Yeah, really love it. So today we're going to talk about the plumb line and about the idea of precisely vertical thinking versus horizontal thinking and what that might look like in your life. So I love the whole idea of the plumb line. And we're just going to do a lot of editing today because all of my windows opened and did weird things. I don't even know where my stuff went. Let's see if it's here. Yeah, okay. So the standard, because it is absolutely standard every time, and because it is absolutely vertical every time, you can rely on it as truth. And that's the big thing that goes along with the plumb line. There's no way for you to trick it. Like I can't, when I'm holding it from the top, though I'm supposed to hold it, I can't make it stay over here, right? At this angle, because of the gravity and the force of the Earth's gravity, it is going to stand true every single time I use it. It's just why we use it as a measurement, because we trust that standard. And so when we start talking about the parable of the plumb line, what we're actually talking about is truth, no more, no less, absolute truth being used as a standard. It's just a ruler. It's like a scale, so that you can quantify. Though, y'all know my experience with the scale, right? Okay, so for the first 50 years of my life, I was very overweight. I was a really fat kid. I was a chubby teenager. I had about 6 months of having a great hourglass shape when I was 11. And then I was fat all the way through high school until I was over about 100 pounds overweight by the time I was 50. And my scale was kind of my demigod, It was like if the scale went down, I was worth something. And if the scale went up, I wasn't worth anything. It was just a weird belief system. And so I thought my scale was like my plumb line. And so I learned that if I leaned on my left foot when I got on the scale in the morning and I leaned way over, I could weigh about 7 pounds less. Now I knew that I never could lean on my right foot because that would make me weigh more. So I would and I never trusted myself to stay even on both feet because I didn't like that weight. So I just leaned real hard to the left. And then because of my beliefs, I would be valuable and I would be skinny and I would, that's like doing this with my plumb line.
Yeah.
It just won't work, right? Yeah. It just won't work. It's just not an accurate measure. And by human nature, our human nature is we are measurers. We compare, we measure, we look all the time.
Oh, yeah.
But what we need is a standard of truth by which to measure, right? Something that's absolutely fixed. Now, if we're using this, it's vertical thinking. When we're using this and leaning over on our left foot, it's not so vertical. But this horizontal thinking is even weirder. Okay, so can you guys think of any things that might represent horizontal thinking? I'll give you just a little bit of an idea. Horizontal thinking is generally connection between other people. So one of the things that came up first for me with horizontal thinking was comparing myself with my peers. It was sitting in a group of women and going, oh, look how cute that bag is. My bag's old and shabby. Or looking through Facebook and saying, oh, they got a new house, really? And looking up in my living room and thinking, my living room's not all that great. Horizontal connections with other people. Any other ideas on horizontal thinking that come up from that?
So let's think about in Rising Strong, Brene Brown talks about her experience with her husband on the lake. And she premises
when they're swimming?
a lot when they're swimming. Is that horizontal thinking? Like, because she's creating this story in her mind about what her husband's thinking because he gets in the lake and she's thinking, oh, this is going to be so fun. We're going to swim together. It's going to be great. And he just is like, gets in and starts swimming and gets across the lake as fast as he can.
Anything.
And yeah, she's trying to engage him in conversation. And so by the time she's swimming back, she's thinking, oh, he thinks I look fat in my swimsuit. He thinks that, maybe he doesn't like me anymore. Maybe she just has all of these stories that she's made up in her mind about what he's thinking and is angry, and then it's
then she creates stories to protect herself.
Yes, yeah. So is that kind of horizontal thinking, like
that's
those
what I'm
stories
thinking
that we create in our mind? Is that like, because that's not that's not truth, right? That's our
You can't
belief at the
test it
time.
against anything. Like with this, you can test it every time. Like I can take it to my kitchen and put it next to my kitchen counter, and let it hold, and it'll show me it's true, that
Hmm.
it's square. But
Yeah.
you can't test that kind of thinking.
No,
No.
no. And her solution was to have the conversation with him because she was writing this book and she's like, we're going to have to talk about this instead of being angry with each other and not talking and slamming things around the kitchen and whatever else they did.
Keeping
Uh,
that steely silence.
yeah, yeah, in the interim. So her conversation with him opens up his reality. And his reality was the night before he had had a nightmare that he was swimming in the lake and he was out with the children and a boat came by and the children were in the way and he was trying to save them. And which kid was he going to save? And so he was just anxious when he got in and he was like, all I wanted to do was get in and get back out. That's really because of this whole thing. And so his reality, he didn't even know that she was hurting or trying to have a conversation or yeah,
Yeah.
or trying to connect, as she puts it. Yeah. So I think we have to have those conversations when our thinking goes horizontal. It's
Yeah, well, and
important
it
to have
does. I mean,
conversations.
because we are human beings by nature, we connect and we stay horizontal a lot of the time, right?
Mhm.
Somebody cuts you off in traffic and you don't have the vertical going on. What are you going to do, right? You're going to tell a story about whoever it was that cut you off in traffic. And it's generally not a flattering story, right? About what they're thinking.
How
So,
about the person that is slow all the way across the mountain and you get to the passing lane and they
and
speed
they
up
speed up.
to like
Oh my gosh.
90 and it's ridiculous. Yeah, can I tell stories about them still?
You can tell them if you want, if that's effective for you, but the horizontal thinking and the horizontal lines almost always leave us unsettled.
Mm.
They're an indicator, like Jen says, they're information about what's going on inside of us. And that horizontal connection allows us to see what's happening inside of us so we can examine it and learn more about ourselves that way.
I just had this experience driving home from Maryland, and it's a 2 hour drive. So this is funny, JC, as you did that. Can I tell you, Maryland drivers scare me to death.
Oh,
So if
wow.
they are just aggressive, and so I don't like driving, and so it's been a thing. It's like you see a Maryland license plate, and you all of a sudden have that story. You all of a sudden have that like assumption and all this everything, and I found myself driving home with some Maryland drivers whipping in front of me and everything, causing me to slam on my brakes because we're
Oh,
on a
wow.
busy interstate, and just and it. So the story was that they're Maryland drivers, but the story I was talk about information. Some of these cars that cut me off were Mercedes, and so the
Oh,
story in my head was,
Oh, there's good stories coming from
all
that.
these rich people that think they this and that. And I'm like, what?
They think they're all that.
I know, and they could endanger. I mean, so it's like, and so I was just like, oh my gosh, information. I was like, that's my dad in my head. That's my mom in my head. And so it's interesting. This horizontal thinking can be your conditioning, what you've been told and heard
Very
over and over in your
much.
life. So
Yeah.
very
this is interesting. I'm like, so
interesting.
this horizontal, it's like that's not my plumb line. It's somebody
It is
else's.
not. What? Okay, so what is your plumb line on the drivers?
Mm,
When you come
Just report
back,
me.
mm.
when you come back, let's see, the plumb line for me would be that is another child of God.
Well,
That's truth.
that gives me another opportunity to be forgiving and all that stuff and everything.
I
But
get to practice. What's
yeah,
the lesson I'm learning?
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
sometimes I will say things that maybe aren't in the best thing, and I'm like, well, I hope you get there in one piece,
Yep.
I
Bless.
hope you don't hurt anybody else. I'm like, well, that's really not the best thing because there's the energy behind it, but
Yeah.
yeah, sometimes I can't give myself a good a good thing because I just am in that emotion. And so, yeah.
Well, sure. And you got to give yourself a little bit of compassion in the emotion, right? And just feel the emotion and work in it.
But
I,
it's,
I'm imagining myself passing, like getting in the fast lane and getting to like 110 and being like, yeah, but saying on the way, and bless your heart.
yes, and bless your heart. Yeah, I know.
That makes everything better. Oh, I got to so work on that. That is like really, that is my thing. It really is. I really, really need to get curious about that.
Mhm.
I know I
Every
do.
time, every time I feel myself in those like starting to have an emotional reaction, that's when
Mm,
I think I'm doing a horizontal something or another, like as Beth was saying. So that's
Yeah,
when I'm
there's
like, okay,
horizontal.
I just need to
Yeah.
figure this out. And it's okay if I don't, but it's an opportunity,
Yeah,
to.
it's an opportunity. And we can be grateful for the opportunities.
mm,
And when we have that experience with the emotional reaction, after we feel the emotional reaction, we can actually call up some gratitude that now we have information about what's going on inside that maybe we can address, or maybe we can go to God and ask him to help us understand. Yeah, it's huge. Okay, so let's talk about the plumb line because I just love holding this thing up. I was telling the girls this morning, I went to this energy class with my sister at one point, and the girl was doing muscle testing. She was teaching muscle testing, and she was using like a necklace on a string or a necklace on a chain to
yeah.
get a yes answer and a no answer. And I was really surprised because I do a lot of muscle testing, but I use my hands, right? I do it like this, where I put my ring and I
Yeah.
test for people that way. And if there's a little strength here to where my hands don't want to go, I know that that's right because I know that things that are true make my body stronger.
Mhm.
But I'd never experienced the idea that an inanimate object would pick up the energy from the top of the string from my body and make something at the bottom of the string
Mhm.
move, which
Mhm.
I really need to explore that and understand. Do you guys, Jen, do you understand anything about the energy and how that works?
No, but I've seen it done and I've actually done it before. It just, I don't know, it's a little different for me. So I just haven't gone down that
It
road.
was really different for me. And if I hadn't been so experienced with the muscle testing, because I've been doing muscle testing more than 10 years now, and it's just kind of the way my body works at this point. I'll find myself just praying and asking all the time on things, just that I'm having this conversation with my creator. But when I hung this down and I watched it start to move, I'm like, whoa, I want to know about that. What
Mhm.
is that? This much I know. This will hang straight every single time because of the vertical and
Mhm.
because of the gravity of the earth. And so I can trust that the earth that I stand on, that she is solid and that the gravitational pull is consistent. Someday I will understand how the impact of my hands and the energy around my body will change that. But for now, I know if it's vertical and it's plumb, Plumb, I can trust it. It'll bring me
Mhm.
peace. So,
Well, I was thinking about, as you were saying that, Beth, I was thinking about um, energy is so powerful. We can walk into a room, we've talked about it before. We can walk into a room where somebody has been in an argument or they're frustrated or angry with each other, and they could smile at you and welcome you. But when you walk into the room, you know, y'all out there, that's true. You've
feel
done,
it. It's all, at
yeah,
least for me, it's like
like,
somebody coated all of the air in the room with stainless steel. It's got this metallic, hard feel to it. It's not the warm, inviting that you usually feel. Yeah,
mhm.
that's the
It,
energy.
it's super powerful. And we know we just had frost for 4 days last week, and it was freezing fog, not frost, freezing fog.
We had that
And
here sometimes.
actually, it was really interesting because Mark brought in, we have one of our barns is pretty far away from us. And so he puts a game camera out there just to see what animals, and then also make sure, because he's was a cop for 30 years, also make sure that nobody
He is a
who's not
protector
supposed
by
to be out
nature.
there, right?
He's still patrolling.
Yep,
Yes,
yep, that's
uh,
good.
is not out there like around our farm equipment. And anyway, so he brought it in last night and he was going through some of the pictures and he's like, what is this? Look at this. We didn't have rain or sleet. And I'm like, you could see it caused the camera to start flashing, the freezing fog.
Oh, how
It was
interesting.
so the energy of that. And then as it froze to like the fences and everything, each little piece of that freezing fog, I just imagine like Dr. What is his name? The Japanese, um,
Masuro Emoto?
yes, Masaru
Yes.
Emoto. Yeah. And he studied the
The snowflakes.
snowflakes.
Yeah,
Yes.
flash frozen snowflakes. So, or water crystals, I should say. They just looked like snowflakes, but yeah.
It was amazing and it caused me to reflect about that. And I wondered, like each of these little crystals that are freezing on the back of my pond and on my plants and on my fences, I wondered what each of those crystals looked like. Did they have a good experience? Because we
Yeah.
know through his studies that when exposed to something negative, the crystals were misformed and they were ugly. They
They were
were,
without order, which I
oh,
found really fascinating. When they
yes.
were exposed to negative energies, that they were without any kind of order or structure.
It
They
was
were
this
random and
blob and they
chaotic.
were dark and they were, yeah,
Yes.
it was darkness.
Yeah.
And then those that were exposed to good things, good music, good words, kind things,
Mhm.
peaceful things, that those were beautiful and majestic. And yeah,
And
so I
intricate.
wondered about,
My favorite were the Mozart, the crystals that were exposed to Mozart, and they were so intricate and so perfectly balanced, symmetrical, and just beautiful. Yeah. Compared to some of the acid rock that they were exposed to where they had no shape.
right.
Yeah, they were just like a glob.
So energy is, well, it's everything, right? But I still don't understand it. I
Well,
don't
I don't
have,
understand it all, but
yeah.
someday I will. But this I kind of love. I love this imagery for the plumb line because there are things that are stable in our lives. There are things
Mhm.
that we can count on. For me, the first thing is my relationship with my creator.
Mhm.
I know with a certainty that I can continue that relationship regardless and wherever I am. And that makes a huge difference, especially when I'm driving 35 and there's a 16 people behind me that really want to pass me. And I'm terrified as I'm driving down the road. Then I know I'm making them all impatient and angry behind me, but I can come to him and he'll love me anyway. It works. Yes, I am the slow person in the passing
So,
lane.
so next time, I'm just going to imagine that
Just
that would
picture
be
me, that it's
Beth.
me
I'm like,
clinging to the
okay.
going, oh my gosh, can I finish this? Yes, that's me.
Yeah. So I will have more patience. I'll just be like, oh, that's Beth.
It's
It gives
probably
me
Beth.
a different,
And she's
right? I can think, I
just
can
doing
put
her
that.
grandma driving. Yep. I told Aubrey, I want, how they have the stickers for your bumper sticker that say, have patience, student driver. I just wanted to say grandma driver. Just have patience, grandma driver. And I'll just sit there. But I drove like a grandma since the time I was 17 and got my driver's license. So that's just me.
That's great.
Yeah. Okay, so that I know is one of my plumb line. What other beliefs, what other things do we know that we can come back to? Because I know that this time of year we can get moving really, really fast. And quite often when we're moving quickly, we tend to get into a more horizontal thinking plane. We're more connected with the worries about people around us being happy. Will they like this gift? What will they think about these cookies that I just made? Or oh my gosh, my sweater's dirty. That's all horizontal, right? What do we have that we know we can come back to vertical, that we can create peace for ourselves and become grounded again in those ways? I mean, the connection with my creator is my number one, because I know I can access that connection anytime in any
I
way.
think, yeah, number one, hands down, access to my creator, going to him for everything. It physically makes me strong. It does.
Oh, tell the story about your lesson that you taught. Okay, so Jaycene teaches a group of high school students in an early morning scripture study class, and she does it what 3-4 days a week?
4 days a
So
week. Yeah.
4 days a week. Okay, so just to preface that, now tell the story because I just love this.
So we were talking about things that strengthen us or weaken us. And so in kinesiology, there's a test that when you put your arm out, when you think true, something that's true, it's hard to push your arm down. But so let's say you say your name. I had my kids say their name. Oh, yep, that's true. And I couldn't
Yeah,
change
and it'll be
it. All I
firm,
did-
right? I could
Yeah,
say my name is Beth and it's firm.
yeah,
It's
firm.
solid.
And then I asked them to say if their eyes were blue. I said, "Tell me your eyes are brown," and they'd be, my eyes are brown." Say, "My eyes are brown," and they did, and it was just like super easy. And they're like, "What?" And then we tried a couple of different, like, imagine somebody you really love, and okay, that makes me strong. And then imagine a conflict, a recent conflict that you just had. And
Yes.
just the thoughts, you guys, make you weaker. Like just those thoughts make you weaker. The most interesting thing I found, though, over and over again, is when I asked them to think about Jesus Christ. And I couldn't even get
I
and I
just
was
love
using
that.
my full body weight. Like I was like hanging off of this strong boy. And I'm like, okay, what is your
Thinking
superpower?
about Jesus. Yeah.
Yeah, that's your superpower. So,
Yeah.
and then I was thinking along those lines, something else that I can count on, and it's something that Jenn has done in imagery with me, and I'm sure you do it with everyone, Jenn, um, is the light. So light to me, I know the sun is going to come up again. It might be cloudy, but it's still the light. And so lights turning light on, light for me
Oh, seeing the sun
fills
come up.
me.
That happened at lunch today. We were sitting at lunch and it has been really gloomy here, right close to your freezing fog. We've had fog advisories too.
Mhm.
And at lunch, the sun broke through the clouds and it was brilliant. And all of a sudden, I just felt so much better. Yeah, just the sun.
And the energy, like with Jen, she's like, okay, imagine a bright light.
Hmm.
And then imagine that it's filling you, from the top. You feel it in your head and just having that go down. Jen, do you know the purpose of that? Like, I know you use it.
Because
Tell
you
me
can
about the purpose.
visualize it
I'm like, oh my gosh, I love this. It makes me,
yeah, it
that.
saturates your body as you're imagining it, and you just feel strong.
Mhm.
I they never really told us exactly what it is, but if my what I would think it is because you can create your reality. So you're creating it, and a lot of people believe that that's the healing power of their creator, and it is literally connecting them to that source and cleaning them out. And so it brings a lot of different like experiences to you. And I even think frequency, and like I will tell people, that healing light is bringing whatever you need at this moment, but it could be love, it could be forgiveness, it could be energy, it could be, so it's like you're creating within you that experience. But I do believe in a higher power, so I do believe that when you do invite that in, it's almost like a form of prayer. It's almost
It
like
is.
you're
Yeah.
asking for those extra energies or helps from a higher power. So I
Well, and
Mhm.
really,
isn't white light the highest frequency light as well?
I think, I don't
It's
know.
full spectrum, so I do believe it
I
is the highest
Mm.
frequency. Yeah.
I don't know. You're the frequency girl.
Yeah, I'll
I
find out.
do. I do believe that um, it's also what you believe too. Like if you
Right.
believe, if you don't believe that, then it's not going to be your experience. So
Right. Because
yeah.
we create our own experience,
Mhm.
which
Mm.
that just kind of blows my mind. The thought that we have the power to create our own experience. I've
Well,
Mm.
that's
seen it
what our
over
thoughts
and over
does.
and over in our lives. I'm
I mean, that's
sorry?
what we do for people with thought work. We're creating
Yep,
our experience,
that's
changing their
exactly it.
reality.
Well, and I know it's hard to keep going back to the car thing, but when we go back to the irritation of the slow person in the passing lane, and especially the indignance that I feel when somebody speeds up when they get there, it's like they're doing it on purpose. And I know that's not the truth.
No, it is
But
true.
It
the
is true.
story, it is not the truth, I
It is
promise.
so true.
The story, when I tell myself that story, I really do bring my frequency down, as opposed to when I extend compassion or love or encouragement, it comes back up again.
It's
Okay.
true.
How's that relate to plumb lines? We full of really important truths that we've talked about. We create our own experience. That really is something that you can hold on to. You have the gift of choice, that you can choose in any situation what you're going to do. Now, sometimes emotions run really high and it takes a while to make that choice, right? Grief is a really big one. Trauma is a really big one. But ultimately, you do have the choice when, after you've lived through the emotional part of it and things begin to settle. Ultimately, you create your life experience. So that's one. We do have a higher power. That's one. We can always call on our creator. And that makes a difference. Light attracts light. There's my third one. So if I'm looking for something solid with my plumb line, instead I've been in horizontal thinking and irritated about I hate getting stuff on my sweater. Just saying. I'm really weird about, I don't like food on my clothes. It drives me crazy. And so if I'm irritated there, talk about horizontal thinking, right? Because I'm all tied up in what are other people going to think. But I know that when I come back to that basic premise, that I will feel better, that I can switch. Yeah. So what about you? What else do you come back to? We have freedom of choice. We have a creator that loves us. Light breeds light. All the vertical thinking.
It's for me, in order to get there, to be able to stop, I have to interrupt my thinking. So, and it's very physical for me to interrupt that thinking. It can be a stomp of the foot. It could be just I noticed the other day I was going like this.
I love this. The feeling of holding my own face. It feels so good. Yeah.
Yeah. And the other thing I noticed is this, like grabbing the back of my head, so which is a really interesting thing. But just I have to interrupt my line of thinking some way. And physically for me works really well. Other people I know might clap. It could be just tapping. I've done that before on a meeting where I'm just tapping my knee or tapping right here, just but physically to interrupt my thoughts, I have to do that. And then once I
you bring
interrupt
yourself
that,
back vertical.
yes, it helps me come back vertical when I can recognize that I am like going off track. So, yeah.
You know what else really helps me come back vertical? Like-minded, truth-seeking women.
Yeah.
We do Coach and Clear every Tuesday. We're going to add the new class on Thursday, starting in January. But I can be growling at 11. I can be grumpy at noon. I can be trying to make excuses at 1:00. I can start the class at 1:30, and by 1:35, I am in a good place. It happens every single time because the alignment of other women who want the same thing, who are all seeking truth, who are all trying to create their own experience, the energy of that group makes a difference. You can really feel the truth in that group. I know there's lots of places you can get that same alignment with other women. But for me, it's just such a marked difference. And by the time we're done with an hour of being together, I'm like, what was I even thinking? How could I not want to do that? It's so good, right? Yeah. Maybe it's the love of family that will do the same thing for you, that will bring you back vertically. Unless your kids are hungry and it's 5:00 and you don't have dinner yet, that might take you back horizontal. Yeah. But the alignment with other women, with other, especially other good faith-filled, just faith-filled people in general, will bring me vertical. A really good Christmas carol will bring me vertical. Connect me back.
A thought that I just had was I can cause people to go horizontal in my
Wonky, JC.
yeah. In fact I did that earlier today with my husband who he hates the dentist. He never calls them. And I got done with my first two meetings and went out and he said, "Yeah, I called the dentist because my tooth is really bothering me, and we have to reschedule this other meeting." And I could have handled it so much different, but I really sent him horizontal because I said, "Oh, do you think it's dying? I think it's dying, right? I think you're gonna have to get a root canal." Like I went there. That was my first place to go. This man hates the dentist. He's this cop. He's not afraid of anything except the dentist.
That's the dentist. I get
Snakes.
it.
But yeah. Oh my gosh. And I caused because I think he was trying to stay grounded, right? He did that. He was good. And then I came in and went, "Ah," and I can't fix it, right? He's gonna have to I've tried to fix it once I realized what I did, but oh gosh, yeah.
Wonder how we can
We'll have
help
to
them
be
come back.
careful. Yeah.
Yeah, back pedal. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That is a really good question. And that is a really good thought that we can contribute to horizontal thinking in others. Yeah. And we
Yeah.
just really want to avoid that if we can. What are you going to say,
I,
Jenn?
same with you, JC. Sometimes I'm like, well, I was somebody's lesson today.
That's the truth.
Sorry about that. I just
Yeah.
gave them an opportunity to grow, and so, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Because we really can. We really can go horizontal really fast,
Mm-hmm.
slide downhill really fast. But lots of things will bring us back vertical if we choose to use them, which is really cool. A good friend, some good
Mm-hmm.
music, food. If I get hangry and nobody wants to be around me when I'm hangry, don't talk to me at 12:30 if I haven't had my lunch. I need to eat at noon, right? So some good food. There's a lot of things that will bring us back vertical. And
for me,
so,
it depends on what vertical I need. Like sometimes I'll need a nap. Sometimes I'll need,
yes, you need to be
some,
horizontal for a little while to get vertical so you can get back
yeah,
up again.
sometimes I'll need a walk. Sometimes I'll need to be in nature. Maybe sometimes I need to be alone. It depends on what my horizontal is, what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, where you're connected. I find my need for solace a lot of times will come in being alone for a little while. I just need some time to breathe and regroup.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, too much connection in the horizontal way. I need to come back. I can come back vertically if I'm taking the time to be alone and connect to my creator. That makes a big difference for me. Yeah. So we have 17 days till Christmas, 16 days till Christmas today. So just over 2 weeks. So we know it's going to pick up lots more parties, lots more gifts, lots more wrapping, lots more sweets, lots more going. So the challenge then is to decide now, 2 weeks before Christmas, 2 weeks and 2 days, not to shorten your duration,
Mm-hmm.
how you want to stay vertical and what you want to use when you do find yourself horizontal, because that's normal. Life is 50-50. You're going to be vertical some of the time and horizontal some of the time.
Mm-hmm.
But what will you do to bring yourself back vertical and to have that plan in place already and to give yourself permission? This is the hardest one for me, is to give myself permission to check out. My favorite is check out for 3 deep breaths. And I really will have to fight with myself sometimes. And the 3 deep breaths, I have timed them. They take me less than a minute and they make such a huge difference. But just 3 deep breaths and feeling my feet on the floor and feeling my seat in my chair will bring me back vertical very quickly. What do you use, JC? And I know you have lots of different things that you do in your life to keep yourself grounded and back vertical in that connection.
Yeah. Breathing for sure. Just, I like, for me, imagery is really big, and just picturing myself in a safe space in my kind of my holy place that I like to go to.
I
And
love to picture myself being held as well.
mhm,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, just feeling that love. I think right now that's been really, most recently, that's been my most helpful, is just picturing, yeah, that imagery of a place. Or sometimes I'll picture, my grandma talking to me, or, just like, oh, okay. So
Go
it's kind
into your mind's eye and let it happen.
of,
You
mhm,
use
yeah.
music quite a bit too, don't you?
Music a lot. I use music a lot. Yeah, that is
How?
very. I've got different playlists. So just like Jen, depending on where I'm at and what I need, I have, maybe I'm just going downhill and I got no energy. I've got songs that can energize me. I've got songs that help me come back horizontal, vertical, whatever.
Vertical.
Vertical.
Vertical. Think
It's
vertical is
lunchtime. My brain
grounded.
is like,
Yeah, well, I love the vertical
okay.
because my feet are connected to the earth and my head is connected to my creator. And I
Yes.
feel really strong when I'm vertical like that.
Yeah.
Think
Yeah,
of a tree
like a
rooted.
tree.
Yeah,
Vertical. Yep.
vertical.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, music can just invite so much emotion, and you can find music to help you or cause many different emotions. So if you've got a playlist that helps you be happy, have a happy playlist. If you have a playlist that helps you calm down, have a
Mm,
calming playlist to bring you
mm.
down out of the trees.
Yeah,
When your monkey's climbing the tree, just bring me back down.
yeah. I
Yeah.
know we all use essential oils as well. I
Mm.
just before we were, mine's all gone now, but just before we got started, I watched Jaycene, put it in her hands and yep. And I had just done that before I started too. The power of scent is really profound. And the way it acts on the brain is so amazing to me. And how fast, I don't even have to do 3 deep breaths though 3 deep breaths. Usually by the third one, it's really impressive. But usually just one, just as soon as that scent hits my brain.
Mm.
Yeah.
I've
It
had
really.
some interesting experiences because I wear them all the time.
Mhm.
And I had my sister-in-law. She'll always come, and she'll come by me, and I haven't caught her, but she's like, I just come by you and I just breathe deep
Yes, you
because
smell good.
well, it's not
Oh.
like that. She goes, it calms me, and I'm all like, why don't you wear them? This is kind of like
Yeah.
you can do it, And I've had people be like, oh, you smell so good. And I'm like, oh, thank you. Do you
Yeah.
want some like calm and like calm the crazy and
Yeah.
Little
yeah,
frankincense
little
to,
frankincense, little bit of
yeah.
silver. Yeah, you'll be calm.
Yeah. Vetiver's my best friend this time of year. Absolutely. I've got a bottle next to my bedside table and it goes on the bottom of my feet before I go to bed at night. And I wake up and I'm thinking clearly again. You don't hit the ground running, you hit the ground centered, which is wonderful. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's one of my favorites. Jen, is there anything else you use besides oils? Anything we haven't mentioned that's something you do in your life to bring
I
yourself back
Like I
vertical?
said, it depends on my horizontal, depends on my crazy. Because sometimes I will use an oil to center me, but sometimes I have to get out and get the energy out, like
Outside.
walking. I have to physically move the body to get it out.
Mhm.
And so I think sometimes if that just means turning on music and dancing, of course, you're moving the energy through your body. And so
Yes.
sometimes that helps me get it out. And there have been times I've actually had to walk away from my husband and go in the other room and go, you know,
Great.
silently because I'm all like, I don't, type thing. So it's like sometimes physically moving your body can just really help you and to come vertical. And and not
Yes.
say the horizontal thing, Jaycene. I've had to actually leave the room so I don't help him go horizontal. Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
very, very kind of you, Jenn.
Oh,
Very
hey,
kind.
it doesn't happen every time. Sometimes he's the one that's like, can I help you return to vertical? So,
Yes, yes.
yeah, it's,
Yeah.
but then, yeah, there are
The
times.
thing I love most about vertical, though, to me, vertical is, there it is. Vertical is truth.
Mm,
Mhm.
That is so weird about Zoom. I just shrank.
Yeah.
you did.
See that? All right,
You
I'm gonna
come in
grow
and out a
again.
lot.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
grow
so
again.
weird. But when I keep coming back, what will it take for me to return to truth?
Mm,
That's vertical. That's what is true, what is real, that's vertical. And so whatever that happens for you, and quite often it's scent or it's sound or it's movement or it's breath. Breath is huge. Yeah, it's really impressive. So y'all just, I know you guys have your favorites, but for those of you who are listening, you might consider just a short list. Use your fingers if you need to. I have them with me everywhere I go. So I'll remember, we've got the five different steps for a happy life, and we've got 5 steps for a 5-finger reset. And I just use my hands a lot that way. But if I will identify 2 or 3 things that can help me on my fingers, I've got my fingers with me. And later in the day, it's like, oh yeah, I want to breathe, or I want some oils, or I want a song. Humming, of all things, humming, that vibration and that energetic exchange, especially if you're humming something that's really nutritive to you, that really nourishes you, can make a huge difference too.
mm.
Yeah. So
I read
good.
something about humming helps you also get out of fight or flight.
Do tell.
Well, it's the vibration. It
Again, it's the vibration,
actually,
it's the frequency that you're introducing.
and if you can do it to where like kind of your teeth kind of like go against, it
Uh-huh.
actually will stimulate the vagus nerve.
Nice.
That we know that
Nice.
that's the only nerve you want people to be on.
Yeah, that's right. That's the one nerve that's okay to be on.
Yes, that's the one nerve to calm you. So yeah.
I love it. Well, all of this, the whole thing about the plumb line and everything, started because I was thinking about Jaycene's year in review class that she's doing on Saturday. Because for me, this vertical thinking and this coming into truth, when I have done that class with Jaycene, it's done for me. It's taken my year in review, where I've looked at the things that have happened and I've answered her questions and I pondered, and it's brought me to truth. And with the truth comes this energy of, ooh, I know what to do next.
Mm.
And so that's the whole business behind the plumb line for me, was Jaycene's year end review. So can you talk to us a little bit about that class, Jaycene? That's happening this Saturday at
Yes.
9 a.m. Central on Zoom.
Yep. So one of the quotes that I love from John C. Maxwell is when he started this program, and he shares it with on he actually has a podcast and he shared it on his podcast. He said this quote, it said, "You have to deal with yesterday to best discover tomorrow."
That's exactly what your class did. It let
That
me
is,
deal with yesterday so I could discover tomorrow. Yeah.
yes, we've got to focus on yesterday and what's happening now so that we can wrap it all up in a nice tidy bow and then move on to tomorrow. So it really, that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to have a bunch of reflective questions. You're going to come with a journal so that you can write. We're going to have time to actually work on it. So some of the first things that we're going to do is one of his other quotes is, "What I value is what I find time for." So,
That
find
means I
time.
really value carbs.
I find a lot of time for that. But, if you value success or moving forward and giving yourself a leg up for the next new year, you'll make time for this to come and reflect. So, Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It is true. I'm really, really looking forward to it. Thank you for doing it for us. It's going to be fantastic.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I know
Always.
our doctors really, really appreciate it as well. So the ones that actually take time to do it because they're busy. I mean,
We all are.
they're year end right now and they're seeing patients that want to get in before all their insurance runs out and they have a new deductible and they have this and then they have families and some of them are coaches for sports and it's life.
Yeah.
Life. They're doctors, but they do life too. And um them making time to actually do this has had a profound effect on them starting their new year. So, yeah.
I love it. I'm looking forward to a profound effect to starting my new year.
Mm.
And how's book club going, you guys? I
We
started the
did-
Gratitude Diaries a month late, but I got to tell you, I'm so impressed by that book. Just saying.
It's a really good book. We
Yeah, it
are
was
just
great.
reading our favorite Christmas books and sharing
Right.
them. So Anne shared last week, and I actually just started it. Let me find it.
I
So
finished The Immortal Nicholas. It was amazing. Just saying.
yeah, I can't even get that one until January.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
they're out of stock. So yeah. Hers is called The 13th Day of Christmas.
Oh,
Yeah. And it's about just a preface to it. It's about a woman who's in her 80s that befriends a girl and her family. And the girl is, how old is she? I think she's 10-ish, maybe. And
I'm gonna write it down.
it's really cute. Yeah. The
Yeah.
13th Day of Christmas.
13th Day of Christmas.
I know that if you have Deseret book by John F. or Jason F. White, um, it's free on Deseret book. Like if you have the
Okay.
plus, yeah,
All right.
yeah.
That's good
So
to know.
that
Jen, are you reading one this month too? Are you reading a Christmas book?
What, did you say me?
Yeah.
No, no, I got too many
Not
things
yet.
to read. I am not, no, not this year. Sorry.
That's totally okay. I just didn't know. I knew that sometimes you do book club. And so
Yeah,
I kind of
sometimes
wondered if you're
it's
doing it
been
too.
hit or miss lately.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's okay. Life, it gets lifey. That's
Mhm.
just the way it works.
Mhm.
Goes around and comes around. I haven't seen my contractor at all since before Thanksgiving. And they got really sick in their household. All of them have been sick. And I have been thoroughly enjoying a quiet, restful home. I know we'll get started again after the first of the year, but it has been so nice to have time to read a book. I didn't realize how much time we were doing with the contracting. So we're very much enjoying it. So your time will come back and you probably don't have to wait for a contractor to get sick. You just, we'll do it. But let's practice. Let's practice this vertical thinking idea this week and learn some more about the way the energy works, right? I'm really interested in that. Till next time, I hope your holidays are happy and your Christmas is merry, merry, merry. And we'll talk again next Monday. And I think, is next Monday the last Monday before Christmas? We have 2 more.
2 more, yeah.
Yeah, 2 more. All right. Well, we will be back next week for full support before Christmas. If you have anything you want help with, Beth at cmhcoaching.com. Just send a note and we will talk about it next week. Otherwise, we will have some other inspired subject to chat and give you some more happy tools to create the life that you really love to have. Thanks, y'all. Talk to you soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye, y'all.
I can choose to be happy, choose to be free, moment by moment. It's all up to me, 'cause what I think about, I bring about. That's the way it is, and there is no doubt. Day by day, I pave the way with every little thought I think.
Hey, thanks for joining us today in a creator-based life. I hope you felt that compassion, mindfulness, and hope you came seeking today. You can find more of it at cmhcoaching.com or on Linktree/cmhcoaching. Of course, any social media outlet, we're there too. Because you felt the benefit and light in this message, please invite those you care deeply about to join us. Help us to create a ripple effect across the globe of compassion, mindfulness, and hope. Then we can create a creator-based life together. Have a great week, y'all. We'll talk to you soon.
Moment by moment, it's all up to me, 'cause what I think about, I bring